So the second half of the questions asked is basically to, they've changed something in their company and the variable cost has dropped to €10 instead of €20 per unit. So you need to show the new break-even point and you need to show calculate the new break-even point, and then that's the first part. And then show on the graph the new cost line and the new break-even point. So I need to calculate the new break-even point first. I'm just going to write BEP2. I know, as we said earlier, the break-even point is fixed costs divided by contribution per unit. So I'm just going to quickly do this out. Fixed costs for 400,000, they stayed the same, divided by contribution per unit. Contribution per unit is my selling price, which stayed the same, €30, minus my variable costs, which has now changed from €20 in the question down to €10. So it's just a new calculation here for the break-even point. So 400,000 divided by 30 minus 20, which 30 minus 10, which is 20. So 400,000 divided by 20 is going to be equal to 20,000 units. So my break-even point in units is going to be 20,000 units. In euros, how much is that going to be in terms of how much my break-even point is? How much will I make off that from sales? So my selling price hasn't changed. Again, you just multiply the break-even point in units by the selling price, so that here is going to be 600,000. So my break-even point in euros is going to be 600,000. The other thing that I had to show was my total cost line. So total costs are equal to my fixed costs plus my total variable costs. My fixed costs have stayed the same at 400,000. What happened to my variable costs? So my variable costs were €20 per unit, but now, as I pointed out earlier, they've dropped to €10 per unit, total variable costs. My output stayed the same at 60,000 units, so 60,000 units, which is my total amount that I'm intending on selling, multiplied by €10, the cost of producing one unit. So 60,000 by 10 is 600,000, plus 400,000 is 1 million. That is €1,000,000. So my total cost line now will be at €1,000,000. This is my total cost line 2. My break-even point is 20,000 units and €600,000. So if you understand the question, all you're doing basically is you're doing the exact same thing for a break-even point to total costs, but you're just using different numbers. You don't have to think about it in terms of anything different. It's not a different type of question. They've just changed numbers. So you will do similar again. You don't have to draw most of it again, like your fixed cost hasn't changed. Nothing about your revenue has changed, so that total revenue line stays the same. So my break-even point in this case now is going to be €20,000. So I know this here are 20,000 units. So 20,000 units, and it's going to be about €600,000. Let's say that is here, 600K. So my break-even point 2 is going to be at around this area here. I'll just put it above it just to kind of show. Okay, technically now I've drawn this graph very poorly because this is supposed to be on this line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 20,000 over. But obviously, look, all of this was drawn. I never do anything to scale. I just randomly drew 20,000. The break-even point is obviously, the concept of break-even point is where the total cost and total revenue are the same. Therefore, my break-even point 2 has to be shown on the total revenue line. At 20,000 units, it's €600,000. That is my break-even point 2. And my total costs, that's not a line, it's just a break-even point. I'll write in BEP2. My total costs go up to 1 million when I sell 60,000 units. So therefore, at 60,000 units, my total costs go up to 1 million, which is about this mark here. So I'm just going to draw a rough line here. So that is going to be my break-even point, or my total cost 2. I'm going to say 1 million is 1,000K, so I'm just going to add this in above the 600, again very roughly drawn. My total cost line too, basically, so it's going to take me from my fixed cost line, because that hasn't changed. It's going to take me through my break-even point, because that's part of both lines. It's the intersection. Both lines have to go through the break-even point, and it's taking me out here to my total amount for fixed costs at my 60,000 units. So my line should be drawn between those points. Again, this is very rough here, but you get the concept. This, let's say, is my 1 million mark across here, this part here. That's my total cost, so I know at 60,000 units that's what that line goes to, and my break-even point at 20,000 units was 600,000, so that's where that goes to there. This has to be labeled as TC2, and this is break-even point 2, my intersection between both the total revenue and total cost there. That's all you have to do. Next part was just limitations, break-even analysis, which you have in your notes. And that is how you draw the chart.